Modern Japan is renowned for its machine-like efficiency, rational and systematic approach to daily life. However, lingering on the edge of consciousness, hidden in the dark corners of its cosmeticized culture, are dark tales of the supernatural. The world of ghosts, gods, transformed humans, spirit possession, urban legends, and other strange phenomena. Japanontology presents 4 more tales of darkness to celebrate the irrational and absurd, and help you engage with the mysteries of nature, life, and existence. HTO Bashira, a type of human sacrifice, was practiced in Japan up until the 16th century. Lords would wall up live victims in pillars, dams, and other building foundations to appease the gods who would protect the building from attacks and natural disasters. It was also a term for workers buried alive. Maruoka Castle in Sakai, Fukui Prefecture, is home to one of the most famous HTO Bashira stories. One of the castle walls kept crumbling during its construction, no matter how much it was reinforced. It was then suggested to the castle lord to make a HTO Bashira. A one-eyed peasant woman with children named Oshizu was chosen for the sacrifice. The mother only asked that her sons be made samurai after the ritual. The lords agreed, and Oshizu was buried under the central pillar of the castle keep. Unfortunately, the castle lords did not keep their promise, and her sons were never made samurai. Afterward, the moat would overflow every spring rain when it came time to cut the algae. The locals thought it was the tears of Oshizu's sorrow and erected a tomb to appease her spirit. A poem was also passed down through the generations. The rain which falls when the season of cutting algae comes is the rain reminiscent of the tears of the poor Oshizu's sorrow. The Mokorenji, Temple of Many Eyes, had been abandoned for as long as anyone could remember. No monk tended the temple, but there were frequent whispers of a tanuki roaming the temple grounds. More tales were told about the temple and why it had been abandoned, and it soon became a place of legends and local myths, with children claiming that any man brave enough to last the night alone in Mokorenji would be rewarded with an evening of pleasure with the most beautiful woman in the village. During one autumn festival, a peddler by the name of Yoshimaru passed through the village. After the festival, a group of local merry drunks made a bet with the peddler that he couldn't last the night inside the temple. With a full bottle of sake in hand, Yoshimaru entered the temple, made himself comfortable, and began to drink. But once night fell, the screaming began. From outside, the local drunks could hear the wailing of the peddler as he howled, "The eyes, the eyes." All around him, peeking out from the old shoddy screens of the temple, countless eyes appeared and twisted Yoshimaru's sanity. When dawn finally came, the village men peeked inside to find nothing left of the peddler but a blood-soaked rag and a pair of eyes. The Tale of Oiwa. Oiwa was a stunningly beautiful young woman who was married to the samurai Iemon, a petty man who only loved her for her good looks. Another woman, Ome, was madly in love with Iemon, and out of jealous rage she tricked Oiwa into using a cream that was laced with poison. It disfigured Oiwa's face, causing one of her eyes to droop and her hair to fall out without her even noticing. Disgusted with her new appearance, Iemon wished to divorce Oiwa and marry Ome, the despicable samurai hired his friend Takuretsu to rape Oiwa, so that he would have the grounds for divorce. Takuretsu was so shocked by Oiwa's appearance, he couldn't follow through with the orders. Instead, he told Oiwa of Iemon's plans, and showed Oiwa her own face in the mirror. Seeing her deformed face for the first time, Oiwa was so horrified that she stole Takuretsu's sword, killing herself. With her last breath, she cursed Iemon's name. On the night of Iemon's remarriage to Ome, the ghost of the disfigured Oiwa appeared before him. A terrified and guilty Iemon quickly fled from Oiwa, but no matter how far he ran, he couldn't escape her hauntings. After that night, no matter where Iemon looked, even in the very lanterns he used to light his path, he would see Oiwa's disfigured face staring back at him. Once, there was an impoverished samurai living in Kyoto with his wife. A wealthy lord from a distant land invited the samurai to be his vassal. Because it was such an honourable opportunity, he had no choice but to accept, leaving his wife to wait in poverty at home until he returned. Years later, having dutifully served his lord, the samurai finally returned to Kyoto. Although his house was in disrepair, his wife was still there to happily welcome him home. Finally, reunited, the two spent the entire night talking and laughing together before drifting off to sleep. When the samurai awoke, the warmth he had just felt the night before from having his arms wrapped around his loving wife was no longer there, and instead, he opened his eyes to see that he was only holding a cold skeleton, shrouded in long black hair. The samurai learned that his wife passed away from sadness the summer before, but his skeleton had remained in the house all the while, waiting faithfully for his return.